Hello, hello. Hi, y'all. It's Sarah Michael. We are here. I am live. Takes folks a little minute to find it, jump on, all that good stuff. But we are here, so yay. It's a beautiful day here in Southern California. Usually we have what's known as June gloom. So the fog basically does not burn off until sometime in the afternoon. Like 2 weeks ago, the fog didn't burn off until almost 4 p.m., but we are in an awesome summer phase where we're getting the actual sun in the morning, and it's awesome. So today I am going to chat about why value-based offers are essential, and I really do mean essential, crucial, critical, and as opposed to instead of quoting a price, and what that looks like. So I posted about this in a group a few days ago. It really blew up, and it's interesting because it's something I posted before. So it's always interesting to me when like, woo, I guess that's like up. So I thought I'd do a little quick video on it. Now, why? I wanted to first talk about why. I will share kind of the how and what that looks like, but why? Why this matters, why I'm such a goof about this. And that is because, and why I think it's really essential, and that's because we have to be aware of what the brain does with information. If y'all been around me at all ever, you will probably have heard me say that a few times. We have to be aware of what the brain does with certain words, what the brain does with certain phrases, what the brain does with certain scenarios, and like how quickly some stuff goes on in the brain. So without making value-based offers, instead of a price quote, when we price, jumping on, hi Miss Brittany, thanks for joining, yay. When we give a price quote and we just say it's X amount of hours for Y dollars, it's human nature, it's nearly instantaneous, and it's completely natural, normal, and it's gonna happen, so why fight it, that the brain is going to run the dollars for hours calculation, like really quick. I want you to watch your own brain. When somebody says it's X amount of dollars or X amount of hours for Y amount of dollars, what does your brain do? Watch your own brain. The best thing in terms of this type of stuff I talk about is to watch your own brain. And what does your brain do with information when you hear this amount of hours for this amount of dollars? Look at it. And I can tell you though, because we're all very unique and individual and we have proclivities and idiosyncrasies and all that wonderful stuff, but in terms of how our brain works, in terms of what our brains do instantly, very quickly, it's safe to say that we're doing this a lot. We're always making these calculations in our head. It's one of the reasons I think not introducing yourself, having a really strong 30-second intro that's really, really vivid, and people can imagine having that. One of the reasons I think that's so important is if you give a job title, like financial planner or massage therapist or business coach, people will get an immediate dollar in their head, dollar figure in their head per hour. They're like, boom, $150, boom, $85 an hour. And it's so quick that we can't, once they go, we can't get them back. But it's a similar kind of instantaneous, this money calculation will happen if we give them, if we say it's this amount of hours for this amount of dollars. So that's one of the reasons it's so important, is that instant calculation, and it's human and it's natural and it's normal, and we want to be making offers in a way that kind of circumvents that. We are making an offer that is likely to be higher value, higher ticket, and them running the numbers in our head is exactly what we're trying not to have them do. So this is why it's so important. And there's also what I'm going to call the so what factor. The so what factor is, so you just told me how many hours I'm going to get, and you just told me how much money that is. So what? Like, what am I going to get? What does that mean? You know, imagine, you would be making this type of offer after a, oh, hey, Sakara, I know your little icon now. Yay, Sakara's here. This would be after a sales conversation, so or at the end of a sales conversation. You've talked a lot, you've explored a lot, you know this person pretty well at this point, and you might make this offer if it's a fit for you and them to work together. So it's at the end of all of that, and if all you do is say it's this amount of dollars or hours for this amount of dollars, it's so what? So what? So what does that mean to me? So the point is, like at that point, your offer is only about the money because you're giving them hours for dollars. It's only about the money. It can't be anything else. Now, here's what a value-based offer looks like. A value-based offer is really a comprehensive and detailed plan. I've had people compliment me the end of sales calls for such a great plan and laying it out so clearly. And I had to giggle to myself because what they were complimenting me on was my offer. But it needs to be a plan. It needs to be a comprehensive plan to get them the outcome, the result that they want. You've gone through the sales conversation. You know what they need. You can help them with what they need. So now we have to make the connection and draw the straight lines, connect the dots for them of how what they said they needed that you can help with. And that's the laying out of the plan. That's the comprehensive, here's how we're going to get you the result you want. And here's what it looks like. I thought, some incentive starters are always good, helps you get yourself going. It gives you a path to follow, but then you fill it in with your own words. But the first part is you said you needed. So this is the value-based offer, at least one part of it. So the value-based offer, you said you needed, that's the first sentence starter. You said you needed to figure out what was going on or how to do your marketing in a way that made sense and actually got results. So that's the need. So you said you needed, to figure out how to make your marketing more effective. And that's just what we'll do. Second thing is, you said this, and then we will. And that's just what we'll do. What we'll do is we'll dig in, we'll figure out what are the marketing strategies that you love to do, that are easy for you, that are fun to do for you, that are going to make the most sense for you and your lifestyle. So we're going to look at all of those pieces. We're going to get you some marketing that works. I'm kind of streamlining some of this for illustrative purposes, but you get it. It's focused on their result, the outcome that you're going to help them get. Now, this last piece, I think a lot of folks forget to do it all, and especially higher ticket selling. It's really crucial that we now need to connect the dot of, I can promise you this result, or I am promising you this result, and I can back that up with how I'm going to get there. How? Now the how are your features, if you've heard the features versus your benefits. So when I say how, I'm talking features. And we're taught, rightfully so, to stay away from the features because people don't care about the features. They don't care about the worksheets and the audio tips and the blip, blip, and blip. They just care about the result. But when making a value-based offer, you said you needed this. I can help you get that result. And here's a little bit about how I'm going to get there. So I have worksheets, I have meditations, I have, for me it's often we talk through it. There's conversations, there's exercises, there's processes I take you through to get you that result. So just a little bit, maybe one or two little examples of how. Because if you're promising that you're going to get this person from A to Z, that's what a lot of us coaches do, is get people where they want to go from A to Z in the simplest form. So if you're promising that you can do that, you got to give them a little something about that you actually have the expertise to get them there. Otherwise, it's this huge promise without anything to back it up. So one thing I like to illustrate this is I do it's funny, Sophia, who's been with me a long time as a client, and I with her, she loves this exercise. I call it red flower, blue flower, yellow flower. So it's an illustration of this value-based offer. And you said you needed a red flower, a blue flower, and a yellow flower. So I'll just spin that out for you. It's a little goofy and a little silly, but it's very clear what is going on. Now I do the 3 red flower, blue flower, yellow flower because usually at the end of having that sales conversation, there will be 3 main buckets of needs, of things they need your help with that stick out. So very often you will have 3 of these pain points, needs, things you can help them with, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to do a whole video on pain points and getting some comfort around just talking to them, because talking about pain points, which are really just top of mind problems, because it helps them see you and say, oh my goodness, this person understands what I'm talking about. And it's the first step to getting their attention in marketing. So the red flower, blue flower, yellow flower, it's how you go through the 3 pain points. And I'll just go through one. I think that's enough after this kind of lesson. But what it is, so you said you wanted a red flower. You know, that red flower that you've been pining for, that you've been striving for, and you haven't reached, you haven't been able to grow that red flower. And what we're going to do is we're going to help you grow that red flower. We are going to do what needs to be done to toil this earth and make it happen and have that red flower grow for you, even though up until now you haven't been able to make that happen on your own. And how we're going to do that is we're going to check into the soil samples and make sure the ground is fertile and there's a strong foundation, and then we're going to look at what kind of seeds you're using and really what you're planting in there. And then we're going to look at, you know, how are you caring for it? How are you maintaining it? What is the maintenance? So that's how we're going to get you there to grow that red flower. So it occurs to me, anyone joining now is like, Sarah's talking gibberish. Sarah just started talking randomly about flowers. Yeah, but that's how you do it. And then you would do it for you said you needed this other thing. You said you needed, you know, the green flower or the blue flower, and then you said you needed the yellow flower. Same scenario. You know, this is where in the sales conversation you have been listening, maybe making a few comments and connecting some dots, but listening, you're listening, people, that's all you're doing. But this offer, this comprehensive, you know, plan that you're laying out for them, you know, it can take a few minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, depending on even 10 minutes. I mean, it can take a fair amount of time, especially if it's a high ticket program and it's a very robust program. Like, you don't want to necessarily chintz on that. And you want to go straight in and be really direct and be very clear. And when you're structuring this value-based offer, it so helps that at the end when you say, and it's all of that, you know, and the part of that, you are laying out the time at some point during that, but the focus is on the red flower, blue flower, yellow flower. And you'll also mention the amount of time, the amount of calls, the amount of groups, the amount of all of that stuff. And then when you say, and it's all of that for $5,000 or whatever it is, so much easier for people to understand and say yes to. Because if they're confused or they're unknowing, that's why I talk about sales as leadership, because this is where we have to lead. Like, if we just kind of leave it for them to figure out, they're not going to say yes so easy. It's just that simple. We have to help them see it. They're coming to us for our guidance or our expertise. And that's one of the ways that we connect the dots for them and make it easy. And, you know, they have a need and we're here to help. So let's make it easy. So that's the value-based offer. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. I got lots of interaction and lots of, especially when I said people were talking, going to think Sarah was talking crazy. I got lots of likes and stuff, which is always fun. So thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Sakara says, makes sense. Yes. Which part makes sense? I'm going to hop off because I have to go to my next thing. But I'm curious what part makes sense. Thank you all. So appreciative. And I'll be here soon again. Take care. Bye. No, this is...